Thank you. Welcome in Amsterdam, the city I live with a lot of joy. We heard just from Peter, we are here at a very historic place at the Royal Tropical Institute, an institute that's almost celebrating its 100 years anniversary. But do you know what the most historic place in the city is? That's another one. Anyone knows? Yes, the Port of Rotterdam. The Port of Rotterdam is celebrating, together with the city, its 750th birthday. That will be next in 2025, and that will be an exceptional year for the Amsterdam as a city and as with the port, because it will also be the 10th edition of Sail Amsterdam. Between the 12th and the 16th of August, Amsterdam will be the backdrop for a stunning fleet of tall ships and heritage sailing boats. During this event, the port looks like it did centuries ago. They are celebrating the past and the long history of the city. 750 years ago, ships sailed in and out of the port, driven by wind or pulled by horses. But times have changed ever since. The port is the fourth biggest port in Europe nowadays. Welcomes all ships nowadays sailing on gas oil. And that has to change. And that's why I want to share with you my story today with the vision of a ship of the future. It's a ship that's 10 years ahead of the time. The first newly built inland waterway ship in the whole world that will sail on hydrogen, meaning zero emission, clean and silent. My name is Femke Brenninkmeijer, and I used to work as a commercial director here in the Port of Amsterdam. In the last 3 years, I have served as a CEO of NPRC. That's the largest inland shipping cooperative in Europe with headquarters in Rotterdam and also offices in Germany, France and Belgium. Today, the cooperative has 150 members and approximately 200 ships sailing a day on behalf of the NPRC to transport raw materials to all European industries, such as ICL. Our members are all family-owned private businesses. And when I stand here on the stage, I represent these 150 families, men, women, and their children. And I want to help these families to march into the future. I want our cooperative to be future-proof and that we will be a leader in sustainable transport. And why is that then so important? Then I have another question. Who has kids in the audience? I see some owners of kids. I have 3 daughters. The youngest one is Diebertje. She was here yesterday evening when we had the general, the last rehearsal. And she is 10 years old. I took her with me. I also took her on the ship, and she loved it. In 2050, she will be 37 years old. And at the same year, the European Union declared that the inland shipping sector should be zero emission. It means that for every birthday of Diebertje, when we sing for her, we have to make a significant step towards this target. But where do we start? And what can we do? 5 years ago, we saw something at the site visit of one of our clients, Nobian, the former Axel company. We visited the company and we saw hydrogen, green hydrogen, coming from the chlor-alkali production, just blowing into the air. And we said to each other, what if? What if we use this green hydrogen to fuel the ship? What if we integrate the transport and industry by using this byproduct for the industry as a fuel, a zero-emission fuel for the transport? What if we start a pilot together? What if we focus on opportunities instead of the problems and the impossibilities? And we started dreaming and creating a vision. At that time, Diebertje was 5 years old when we started the project. The first question was, can we find an inland shipping entrepreneur in my cooperative willing to stick out his head and invest in building a ship? At our General Assembly, I asked my 150 members, Who wants to be part of this dreamy, ambitious project? And there was Harm Lenten. He approached me and said, I want to be this entrepreneur. Harm Lenten is the director of Lenten Shipyard BV, and he owns MS Antonie, whom he had with his parents into service around 2000. Since 2007, he has started with this ship in the Salt Shuttle we exploit together with Nobian. It's a shuttle of 4 sailings a week, and it transports salt between Delfzijl and Rotterdam. And there's nothing wrong with the ship of Harm. It's even equipped with filters and catalytic converters. And yet Harm decides to stick his head out to order the construction of a whole new ship that will be sailing on hydrogen. It's a big step out of his comfort zone. By the time Diewertje was 8 years old, we had all worked it out, the issues and closed the feasibility phase. We had the technology sorted out, we arranged finance and closed the contracts with a long-term commitment. However, what was unclear was the certification, the regulation, the infrastructure, the permissions to sail on hydrogen in the ports, and more. Nevertheless, we entered the realization phase. We created a consortium of partners. The government and the minister himself were assigned and committed. We looked for people who shared the vision and dared to dive into this dream with us. And now, as I speak, the ship is being built at the yard of Concordia Dame in Werkendam. The ship will be 135 meters long, the longest that is allowed to sail on the Dutch rivers and canals. The ship shall save 660 tons CO2 per year, and last week we had an update of the realization for all stakeholders to take them along on this journey. The ship shall sail after the summer across the Dutch waters. Now, no doubt we're talking about a unique project. It involved a broad and cross-sectoral collaboration between supply chain partners, a collaboration between the industrial cluster and the transport sector, a collaboration between people, business, and government. The fact that Nobian, the ship owner Harm Lenten, Concordia Dame, and my company are joining forces for the project is pretty unique. We share solid shoulders and a long-term perspective so that the individual inland shipping entrepreneur can make these significant investments. Are we there yet? No. We must also be realistic. We are still progressing with this project. There are still considerable challenges to take to make also the whole inland shipping more sustainable. But this project makes it possible to experiment, to learn, and to further innovate together, as well as to show the world that we are capable of such innovations. We create a big impact with small steps. We have a beautiful maritime cluster here in the Netherlands from which unique steps can be taken if there's the right chemistry between people, parties, and government. If there's anything the past teaches us, it's this. Keep going, push forward, and transform the future in even more past. Take up the leadership to be part of the future so that our kids, even when they grow up, live in an even better and more sustainable world. Thank you all.